Small town life. Riding your bike on a hot afternoon, delivering papers. Things that stick in your mind. You think about family, remembering your first car, lightning bugs in the background. Those kinds of experiences are golden, and that's what we're made of, quite frankly. You can't talk about a person without the memories because they're the building blocks of their life. Can I say I'm a product of Joplin? In many ways, I think I am. Now, the house that we're focusing on was one that we moved into when I was in 9th grade. It's a house where I grew up throughout high school. It's a place where we staged before we went to my wedding. It's the place I left from Missouri to go to graduate school. Memories of people coming back with their children and us making our first visit back after my older son was born. Things like that that really pop when you think about a particular house. My wife comes in telling me about this and the fact that we couldn't get a hold of my father. So we had some anxious moments until finally we got to talk to them and they were okay. And then I went down as soon as I was able to and took the pictures that you've seen. The crazy thing was that the house where they were living was on a hill. A tornado destroyed houses behind them and in front of their house, but it hopped over their house. Right across diagonally from us was Irving School, where I went to a grade school. Massive brick building, and it had been destroyed as well. Now there's nothing left of any of it. They bulldozed all the areas, and it's just an empty lot. That whole block is just empty. If people didn't know there were houses there, you'd just think it was just an undeveloped area. And that despite the fact that there are many, many people who have memories of that time and that place. And it's very hard for them to come back and look at that and realize, where did my memories, where did my background go to? Looking at that space and what had been done to it, I realized that the way that we think about space needs to be expanded. And so I started looking at spatiality theory, something that is part of sociology and geography. And in the process, I learned about the division of space into three parts: first, second, and third space. First space being physical space, second space being imagined space, and third space being basically what happens in a particular space at a particular time. But then I said, we've got to add one more. We've got to have a remembered space. We've got to know that something happened there that remains alive as long as somebody remembers it and tells the story. And so I started looking at biblical stories, because that's what I do. I'm an Old Testament scholar. And I started looking at the ways in which various stories depended on a particular space and how they used that, and even how they used the memory of a particular space. You can talk about, for instance, Jerusalem, and well, what was Jerusalem like at one particular period or another? But of course today you can't really tell because it's been built over many, many, many times. But the way it's talked about in the biblical text, sometimes you can recreate that kind of stuff. But I was also interested in the way in which space and memory coalesced, how it came together, because remembered space can be very, very powerful. It's a way of saying, yes, it's a long time ago. It's something that happened that you may never see. You may never go to Israel, and yet you can make analogies between that and the hills of the Ozarks. It works.